Hi, everyone. Welcome to the New Jersey Association for College Admission Counseling Virtual College Fair. This is for the New Jersey Public Schools session. Thank you so much for joining us. We are really excited you are here. Before we get started, we do have a few housekeeping items to note. First, your camera and microphone are off. You are muted and your video is off. The panelists can't see or hear you. If you have any questions at all, feel free to use the Q&A button to type in your questions to the presenters at any time. They are here, ready and available to answer your questions. This is one of many college presentations being offered, so feel free to check the schedule on the website for more. And lastly, this session is being recorded and will be available at strivescan.com/New Jersey. We are really excited to start this session all about New Jersey public schools. So without further ado, I'll kick it off. We'll go ahead and get started and jump right in. Thanks.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Heather Medina. I'm the Director of Admissions at Stockton University, and I'll let my colleague introduce himself.
Hi, good evening, everybody. My name is Brian Sote. I'm the Assistant Director of Transfer Initiatives over at the College of New Jersey. Thank you all so much for joining us this evening.
So I'm going to share my screen. I do have a few slides that I'd like to share with our guests today. Welcome to New Jersey Public Universities in New Jersey. So for those that haven't had an opportunity to visit Stockton University, we're located in Galloway, minutes from the Jersey Shore. We actually have a campus in Atlantic City now. We have a little bit over 9,000 students, undergraduate and graduate, as well as several satellite campuses to choose from and take some courses. As I mentioned, we have a university at the beach, so that residence complex there is right near the boardwalk in Atlantic City. I'm at the Ventnor end of the city, so for those that haven't had a chance to come and check us out, please feel free to do so. That's just a view from the inside of one of our residential halls. And yes, that's not Photoshop, that's an actual picture there at our Atlantic City campus. A lot of freebies when a student lives on Stockton's campus. Just to name a few: parking, Wi-Fi, of course, laundry is all free. Freshmen are allowed to have cars on campus. Just a number of things that students can get involved in. Of course, we guarantee housing for all 4 years, apartment style and double style residence halls. 160 majors and programs to choose from. We cater to the undecided student. So for those students that may not be too sure of what they'd like to do, over 60% of our students do come in undecided, and you can take a different array of programs and classes within all of our different disciplines. We're noted for our areas of natural sciences and math and health sciences. We, of course, have one of the graduate programs in physical therapy and occupational therapy, a number of doctorate programs as well. So, you know, of course, you could check a full listing on our website. Get involved, plenty of ways to get involved, and that's probably one of the main things that we'd like to highlight to our first year students to get involved on campus. Clubs, organization, multicultural organizations, again, an array of different opportunities for students to get involved in. I think that's all the slides that I have. Okay, our athletic program, we are Division III NCAA. Number of club sports to choose from as well. So if you don't want to get involved in the division level, a number of opportunities there to get involved either on a division level. Our esports team is probably one of the highlights of the campus, as well as, yes, Quidditch we do have on campus. Students are always first, study abroad opportunities, internships. We have one of the highest percentage of full-time faculty than any other college and university in New Jersey. So you are taught by experts in your field of interest. Here at Stockton, we always put, again, students first. You're assigned a faculty member mentor that will help you select your classes, as well as, of course, provide you those internship and studying abroad opportunities. Ways to apply to the university, either through Common App or a web application. We do not prefer one method over the other. We simply encourage students to apply. We are completely test optional for a number of our majors and programs, with the exception of our direct entry nursing program, as well as our BSDO program. But other than that, all of our majors and programs are completely test optional. We only need your official high school transcript, of course, an essay, and some letters of recommendation are definitely encouraged to be submitted. Our cost for the year, and that's the highlight of the coming into a New Jersey school. All of our New Jersey schools are reasonably priced, and we're all within that price point. So Stockton's tuition and fees is a little bit over $14,000 for the year, total cost being a little bit over $27,000. But that's not what you will pay if you decide to come to Stockton. 83% of our students receive some type of financial aid, and the average package covers well over half of the cost, with over close to $15 million of scholarships that are awarded. We also have what is known as our Stockton Promise program. So for any students whose families earn less than $65,000 a year, from 0 to 65,000, we are covering the gap of your tuition and fees to the very last dollar of the tuition and fee, to the total cost of your tuition and fees. So first, your financial aid gets applied, and whatever that gap is for your tuition and fees, we come in and we cover that cost. We, of course, have a number of programs that you can also choose from, whether it's our EOF program, our First Ospreys program, or our Student Success program. Those are just some of the few programs that we recommend students to take advantage of, as far as mentoring and different additional services that we provide to students. And I want to end with our merit scholarships. So for students that are applying to the university, you're automatically considered for a scholarship when you apply to Stockton. Basically, we do look very closely at what you're involved in, clubs, organizations, of course, if you've done any volunteering work, but really more importantly, we're looking at all of the things that you've done outside the classroom, whether it's working a part-time job, or taking care of siblings, or even family responsibilities. We know a lot of dynamics have changed over the years. So we are looking at your overall grade point average, as well as considering you for scholarships. And then, of course, the ways to connect with us is through our website, any social media. We'd like to see students engage with us, whether you interact with our admissions ambassadors, that they do takeovers and highlight some of the different events and programs that we have. Quite a few ways to get in contact with us, but really more importantly, we cater to the students that have any questions. We come alongside of you. You're assigned a personal admissions counselor and a guide through this whole process. So if there's questions about applying to the university, financial aid, anything like that, you can definitely reach out to any one of our counselors. So I'm going to yield, give the floor to Brian for his presentation, and then I believe we're going to open it up for any questions towards the end. So thank you for your time.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Heather. I'm going to try to be as efficient as you were in keeping everybody on time, so that students have the ability to ask us questions. So I'm just going to quickly share my screen real quick as well, and then we'll jump into my presentation about TCNJ. So once again, thank you so much for joining us this evening and sacrificing some of your time to learn more about both of our institutions here. So if you don't know about TCNJ, we are a public institution in Ewing, New Jersey, about 10 minutes north of Trenton. And we are kind of nestled right in the southwestern corner of Central Jersey. Yes, I know Central Jersey exists. If you are from Central Jersey, raise high. But we are happy to announce that we are Central Jersey, just kind of tucked in the corner over there, about 30 minutes to Philadelphia, about an hour to Manhattan, depending on how fast you drive, of course. But we're one of the top public colleges in the Northeast, and the top for best investment for your money. So what do we do at TCNJ? Who are we? What are we like? How is campus? So we're a circular campus, 2 entrances on, 2 entrances off, self-contained campus with about 7,000 students enrolled on campus. We're a college. We're not a university or any means by that. So we have all majority of students on campus are all undergraduate students, meaning you get the ability to work with lab space, research opportunities, connect with your professors, and grow at a graduate level profession rate while being an undergraduate student. So fighting for lab space doesn't really happen too much here at TCNJ because students have the ability to get into those classes and get into that lab space. So we have a 21 student average class size, 13:1 student to professor ratio. So that close-knit environment of working with your academic advisor, working with your professor, more than likely will be the dean or the chair of your program as you continue to grow with that. We have a 94% retention rate, which is amazing. So the students you come into TCNJ with will more than likely be the ones you sit at graduation with and celebrate over all of your accomplishments that you've earned over the last 4 years. We have, while we are the College of New Jersey, within the College of New Jersey, we offer 7 different schools here. So we have everything on the screen in front of you, from arts and communications all the way down to the School of Sciences and everything else in between. Way back when, before any of us were even thought of, TCNJ started as a school of education. We were New Jersey Normal School, where we started to teach students how to become educators moving forward. So education is big in our system here at TCNJ. It's our bread and butter. And as you can see, we offer a lot of different options within our School of Education here. But we've grown from there. We've impacted and added 50 total different majors spread out across our schools here that you can see in front of you. We are a direct admit entry program, meaning you do not have to reapply to that program at a later date. If you're admitted to nursing, you're admitted to TCNJ School of Nursing, Health and Exercise Science as a nursing major. So you don't have to reapply at a later date. Same thing with science, biology, engineering, you get the idea. So that program that you're applying into will set you up in the beginning first semester here at TCNJ. And similar to Sonic, having all their different mixes and combinations of different drink orders that you can purchase from Sonic, same thing with us here. There's a variety of different mixes and matches that you can partake in doing dual majors and major minors within a lot of your classes. Since being a liberal arts institution, we have the ability and kind of can flex around some of those courses to make sure that you're hitting multiple content areas going in towards your major as well. So if you're interested in a variety of different things, we also have an undeclared major where you can kind of get an idea of what pursuit you want to pursue moving forward. Or if you're a student like myself who has a wide interest in a lot of different things, we also have a self-design major where you can combine a couple different topics together and kind of, make literally a self-design option. So you can combine biology and music together if you wanted to figure out how whales communicate to each other using, Doppler signals and radar. So whatever it is that you want to do, we have a spot for you here at TCNJ. Similar to what Heather was mentioning, we do offer an accelerated pre-med program. So 3 years at TCNJ, 4 years at Rutgers Newark Medical School, which you could also apply to as well. So tons of different opportunities here for you to get your education. But then we also want you to have fun on campus as well too. So 250 different clubs and organizations for you to partner in. And I say 250 different plus because each semester students come onto campus, graduate, leave, what have you, and new clubs are formed. New things are happening on campus each and every day. So you're more than able to get involved in any of the activities that I listed before you, from honor societies to Greek life to cultural community to civil engagement to social to community service and everything else in between. We have a home for you here in a variety of different clubs and organizations. And if we don't, make one, grab a buddy, grab an academic advisor, bring it to student government. They'll sign you in as a new or the newest club on campus, I should say. We also offer 20 different Division III athletics on campus. We are a premier Division III spot. We have over 50 different national championships, team championships, I should say. Our women's soccer team is #1 in the nation. Our women's field hockey team is number 11th in the nation. So we do a great job of building championship pedigree here at TCNJ, but we also offer it at the intramural and club sports as well. So if varsity and Division III is too much of a challenge in terms of time and practice and constraints, drop down. Let's play some sports on campus or club of sports and travel just within the state of New Jersey. So we have a ton of different opportunities for you. But how do you take that next step? What do you need to do to submit your application to us? So first and foremost, as Heather mentioned, we are on the Common App as well. You can find us there. We're also on the Coalition application. Completely up to you on how you want to pursue that application. I would just recommend checking in with your school counselor, and they might have a preference as some of their systems and networks connect directly to the Common App. So Naviance, for the most part, connects directly to the Common App. Just check with your school counselor and make their lives a little bit easier in terms of helping set you up for moving forward. So I mentioned that we're a direct admit program, meaning we need to know your primary choice major so that we can place you directly into that program. secondary major, just in case we can't fit you in a primary choice major, there's a possibility that we'll review your application for your second choice major. So we want to make sure that we can fit in exactly what passions you have and how we can help build those passions and goals on campus as well. Your transcripts will be sent over to us officially from your school counselor. We are a school that tracks demonstrated interest. So coming to Lions Day open houses, coming to a campus tour, being involved in these sessions tonight, all kind of give you a nice little tick mark moving forward about how interested you are in TCNJ as well. Extracurricular activities. I know COVID, impacted a lot of people getting out of their class from home, right? And not having the ability to get out and get involved as much as they used to. That's totally fine. I mean, we've all been in a circumstance with COVID where we had to drop some things and we weren't allowed to do things. So we're all in that same boat together. What I would recommend is still brag about the things you were able to pursue moving forward prior to COVID and what changed. Are you taking care of your brothers and sisters? Are you working a job? Whatever it may be, placing that stuff in the extracurricular portion is a big piece of the application as well. 2 letters of recommendation will automatically be submitted, one from your school counselor, one from a teacher. Get a teacher you like, doesn't have to be your junior year teacher, it could be your English teacher, it could be your gym teacher, whoever it may be, but have a teacher write a letter of recommendation for you that has a good knowledge of who you are as a student. And then the application essay, the biggest part of your application, I personally believe, but also the funnest and easily the most stress-free part of it. And I know it's kind of weird for me to say, but you're all sitting there going stress-free. This is the best part of the application because it has the ability for you to be authentically you, taking away GPA numbers, SAT numbers, all that fun stuff are just numbers. You are a person and we want to see who you are as a person. And that essay can give us an idea of how you'll be on campus, impacting change on campus, and what legacy you'll leave on campus when you graduate as well. As you'll see in our big brackets down at the bottom, our asterisks, we are test optional, ACT test score optional until fall of 2023. So if you're a senior and a junior applying to TCNJ within the next year or so, we are test optional, meaning you do or don't have to submit your test scores. It is entirely up to you. We're giving you that power to choose whether or not you want to submit them. At no point in the admissions process will admission decision be based on your SAT or ACT score, nor will your merit scholarship opportunities be impacted by submitting your scores or not. So you do not have to submit them if you don't want to. I would recommend if you are planning to submit them that you do. It would help with some calculus placement tests as well as education. It could help with your praxis test moving forward so that you're certified to be an educator as well. So entirely up to you on whether or not you want to submit your test scores. The only program that you do need to submit your test scores though is the accelerated pre-med program. So you do need to submit them for that program. All other majors are test score optional. We also have specialty applications. I mentioned the accelerated pre-med program. We offer EOF opportunities for students. You apply same time with your application and our EOF team will reach out to you for additional documentations that you'll need to fill out. We do portfolio reviews for art majors, audition reviews for music majors, and those departments will also email you in terms of an audition. The portfolio will be submitted right through Slide Room on the application. We don't need to know about transfers too much here, but first year we have early decision 1, 2, and regular decision coming up. Early decision 1, early decision 2 are binding, so please make sure that you're paying attention in terms of applying to an early decision timeframe. If you're interested in pursuing that, you, school counselor, mom, dad's guidance or guardian will sign off saying that you're applying to early decision to TCNJ or some other school. Keep in mind, like I said, it is a binding decision, so it's with the intention that you would be attending in the fall if admitted. This process is very stressful for families just because you don't know what you might receive from other schools in terms of merit scholarship. So financial aid and help is what you're looking at in terms of making that decision. Maybe a regular decision application is more in line with that. So those are our deadlines in front of you. I'm trying to keep on time here so we can get to a lot of your questions. In the back foreground of the photo is Green Hall, where everything happens, President's Office, financial aid, records and registration, all that fun stuff. And in the foreground is our brand new STEM facility on campus where all of the engineering components, biology, chemistry are happening as well. I would be remiss if I didn't tell you about tuition. So currently for in-state students, it's roughly around $17,000 for the year. That is sticker price. If you decide to live on campus as well, an additional $14,000. It is a little closer to $630 now. My math might be a little hazy, but I'm pretty sure that adds up to a total of $32,000 estimated, depending on what you qualify from state and federal aid by submitting your FAFSA forms. The last part is merit scholarship. All students are automatically reviewed for merit scholarship, and if awarded, it would be disseminated in your acceptance letter as well. Historically, it's been between $2,000 to $8,000 per year. And like I said, there's no separate application. You're automatically reviewed for that. And it does fluctuate based on your GPA or class rank of your high school. So keeping in line with all of those materials, that'll give you a good idea of what you might be looking at in terms of those fluctuating merit scholarship components for the fall. But that is my spiel. I'm going to open it up for all the questions. I'm looking forward to answering those questions. I know you're getting a tidal wave of information from both Heather and myself tonight. We are here to help answer those questions that you do have. Take advantage of us while we're here. And I will stop sharing my screen now and get off my little soapbox to open it up for questions. So thank you so much for joining us again tonight. I look forward to your questions.
Awesome, thank you. And as mentioned, if you have any questions at all, now's a great opportunity to go ahead and submit those in the Q&A button towards the bottom of your screen. Any questions at all, our representatives are both here to assist. And while we jump and wait for questions to come in, we'll go ahead and get started with our first question here, which is, what advice would you give someone going through the college search process? What advice would you give someone going through the college search process?
Visit, 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 visit. And then when all else fails, visit again. Visit. You definitely want to go and visit. You don't buy a car without test driving it. You don't go and buy a house without checking out the rooms. You need to go and visit the university in which you're going to be investing your time and your future. So I would say visit, and then of course do the research that goes along with the school. Once you've determined what school you'd like to apply to, keep yourself organized with deadline dates, of course any specialty areas or programs, and of course reach out to the school or university in which you're interested in applying to. Those are all of the recommendations that I would let students know as they're starting this process.
So Heather, I was going to agree with you and say the exact same thing. Visit, get on campus, get in front of us some way, shape, or form. And I've said this at a previous panel and people looked at me like I was crazy, but this is the golden age of admissions. It really is, because with everything happening, the pandemic kind of opened up a lot of doors for a lot of students to be able to visit virtually that they never had before. I mean, when I was going to school and looking at colleges, I had to physically drive to go to the campus. And if I couldn't afford it, we weren't going. So it is a completely different kind of phenomenon of what students have the ability to attend and check out. So virtual visits, on-campus visits, the world is at your oyster, really, almost, for you to kind of get involved and check out all those schools that you wanted to or dream about visiting and going to. You could do it virtually from the safety of your own home, which is pretty cool. The other thing I will also add, and I shifted to this idea while you were talking, Heather, is we live in an instantaneous society. You can get information on Instagram, Facebook, all the social media platforms. Everything is at your fingertips, ready to go. But admissions hasn't caught up to that instantaneous process yet. Documents need to be received, applications need to come in. So please be patient a little bit with things coming into our offices, because thousands of kids are applying to our institutions. We're making sure that transcripts are matching to the appropriate applicant, which means in your best interest is to not wait to the deadline to apply. So being, like Heather was mentioning, being ahead of those guidelines and deadlines, making sure the things you can control are submitted, your application, your letters of rec, your essay, all of those things, and letting your school counselor know, hey, I'm applying to Stockton, I'm applying to TCNJ, and they have the idea to send out those transcripts. So you can only help benefit yourself moving forward by making sure you're aligning with those deadlines, by knowing that we're not instantaneous.
Awesome. Great advice. Thank you. It's always truly helpful to hear directly from those who work at the respective institutions to offer advice, suggestion, tips, especially when you're going through the college search process. So thank you for that. Our next question here is, what's one thing you want students to remember about your school? What's one thing you want students to remember about your school?
Students first. I know it's a cliche, but it definitely here at Stockton, I know that firsthand. I am a graduate, two-time alum of Stockton. I've been with the university now over 20 plus years. I've dedicated my life to the university that invested so much time into me. and giving and providing the opportunity to so many deserving students. So I would, really let students know that it's important to go with those first impressions. When you go and visit a university, when you call an admissions office, when you make those connections with, your personal counselor, those are the things that you should really look for, in an institution, because those are the things that are going to happen once you are a student there. Everyone looks pretty on the day of open house. Everyone rolls out that red carpet treatment to the families during their admitted students days. It's really those interactions that you have with your counselors, or when you come and visit for a campus tour, when you're actually getting responses back from a counselor, or picking up the phone and actually getting a live person to talk to. I think all of those things should matter in this process. So it's just like one of those things we always say here, from the president to every area of our campus. It's always students first.
Heather, me and you are on the same wavelength tonight, because once again, stealing my answers, but that's okay. So TCNJ, same situation. I think this goes for a lot of small.
You did say ladies first, so
I did. So I set it up myself, right? It's all good, but because we're here for the students. So that's what I think the benefit of going to a small institution, a small close-knit institution, is that they really have a finger on the pulse of what the students are looking for. And how do we help those students? And it's not a large amount of students on campus where you kind of fall through the cracks and get lost in the shuffle in the mix. We want to see you succeed. And like I said in my presentation, being able to connect with your professors who have the reach into the alumni base of who's working at what or what company, where are people in the industry that you're looking to go into? How can I connect me to an alum that graduated 2 years that's working at Paramount, if you want to do communications, whatever that interest may be, they have those connections built up, and they're willing and able in every facet of the institution, willing and able to help set you up for success. And that goes for everything from our ARC, which is the Accessibility Resource Center, to make sure that you're getting the appropriate resources that you may or may not need, to working with our housing office to make sure that we're fitting you in to live on campus that fit what you might need, where you might need it on campus, to working with your professors, to working with our career office, to working with admissions and everything else in between. If we're not giving you that impact and that feeling that you feel you deserve, we're doing ourselves a disservice. The other part is the genuine answers. When you reach out to an admissions office and they're giving you that information, do you feel that it's a genuine offer? Are people just, or answer, are people just telling you things you want to hear? Or are they saying, you know what, that's a good question, I don't have the answer to that, let me look into it and get back to you, and they actually follow up with you? I think having the ability to work at a small school, and I attended a small school, they have that ability to do that kind of catered approach to students. Graduating in a 4-year rate is something that schools look at. Other ones look at it on a 6-year rate. Depending on what you're looking at as well, TCNJ is graduating students within 4 years at about an 88 percentile, which is amazing when you figure out everything going on in the world, students traveling abroad, students taking time off, whatever it may be. To graduate within 4 years at an 88 percentile clip means we're really investing into the students' life here on campus, making sure that they're getting the success that they need in either tutoring or in the academics. And how do we advance them to the next level of their life without causing a massive impact in their financial situation as well? So I think a lot of those things benefit not only just TCNJ, and as Heather mentioned with Stockton, a lot of those similarities run true with both of our institutions, because we are that small, close-knit environment to benefit you as a student, to make sure that you're being set up for success as well.
Awesome, thank you. I absolutely love that question, because it truly just shows how unique each campus and each school really is. And so you always just want to remember that one thing that sticks out to you, again, during this time that everyone is during this fall season. So again, this is really helpful. I believe this may be our last question, but we'll see if any other questions float up here to the top. But what is one myth you would like to debunk on the college admissions process? What is one myth you would like to debunk on the college admissions process?
It is affordable. It is affordable. Don't believe it. You have to really do the research. You know, being a state university, a state institution, there are resources that are out there to help support the students, scholarships, obviously. I would say a lot of families, particularly our first gen students, or even our undocumented students, don't think that this is an option for them. They just don't believe that it's a possibility. And there are a lot of different resources that we have as a state, even as a university, to help make it affordable. Really the students reaching out to, the school, again, personal counselor coming alongside of the student and the family, because we know it is a family decision. Really doing that extra resources, not taking, not thinking, not asking those questions, just automatically assuming. And I think that that's probably one of the worst things that, a student can disenfranchise themselves from the opportunities that may be able or presented to them based on the fact that, don't think that it's a possibility. So we are really individual folks that review applications. We read every essay that comes in. We read the letters of recommendation. We look carefully at your high school transcript. We're looking at making a match with a student. So I would also say that, some students just want to copy and paste and, that kind of thing. We're looking at that too. So I think that it's important to note, have some organization, of course, as you start this journey, but really, I'd say the key one is, affordability. It can be affordable.
That was an excellent answer. And I'm going to go in a different direction for our third question and offer another area. I think, in now that we're getting back to in-person events, we had one at Monmouth University yesterday for NJACAC, and I got multiple questions over and over of, well, what's the secret sauce? How do I get admitted? What do I need to know? And here's the myth. There is no secret sauce. We look at each individual student individually. It's a holistic review. And then there's a lot of schools before the pandemic that they were saying were holistic and are fighting really hard now to figure out how to do that without an SAT or ACT review. We didn't really have to change too much because it was a holistic process on our end. So being able to look at you as a student, figure out who you are as a person, reading those essays, reading those letters of rec, if you are taking the time and dedicating time in your day to fill out all those questions, answer those questions, write those essays, ask for letters of recommendation, and taking time to apply to our school, it would behoove us not to read that information and take the time to look at every single sentence you write. So with that, we can gain all the information on how you're going to impact our campus. Here's the other myth. We absolutely hate denying students. There's nothing that we as admission counselors hate more than having a conversation with a student about being denied. It's the worst thing that we do. We actually want to admit you to our schools. And just as much as you're looking at us as like, I want to go to this school, I want to go to this school, we have to also do that on the back end too. But we want to make sure that we're setting you up for success and making sure that if we're admitting you to the campus, that one, we can help you succeed, and two, we're setting you up to succeed. And that's kind of the background of it. There's no secret sauce. There's no like, oh, if I know this person, I'm going to get admitted, or there's nothing like, oh, if I play sports or anything like that. Listen, you are an individual student applying to an individual school, and we're taking that time to review you. If the secret sauce is anything, it's who you are as a person is really what the secret sauce is. But that's the biggest myth. I think, oh, what's the secret sauce? Heather, I'm sure you've got it asked it a bunch of times. Hey, tell us your secret sauce, right? There's no secret sauce. There's absolutely nothing. It really is a day in and day out process.
Do the work.
Right? It's taking
be
time.
a good student. Just be a good student.
Be authentically you.
Mm-hmm.
That's the secret sauce. That's the demystifying myth.
Yeah.
And applying on time.
Yes.
Awesome. Was there anything else you all wanted to share before we close out?
No, I'm glad that we have someone that joined us this evening. Definitely. Not sure if she might have some questions to ask, but we're here for you if you have any questions at all.
Yeah. And as Heather mentioned, yes, if you have any questions at all, feel free to submit those using the Q&A button. Again, thank you to both representatives. It's all great information, so much to consider. And so again, thank you for being here, for your time. We really appreciate it. And thank you to each of you for joining us. As we close, there'll be a very quick 5-question survey that will appear on your browser. If you don't mind taking a moment to fill that out for us, your feedback is extremely helpful. This is one of many college presentations being offered. There are more coming up, so feel free to check the schedule on the website for more. And lastly, this session is being recorded and will be available at strivescan.com/New Jersey. Again, thank you all and have a great night.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.